Hi everyone, I'm Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access TV.
And I'm Kim Anderson. I'm on the board of MCAT, and I'm the Director of Programs and Grants for Humanities Montana.
We'd like to welcome you to this birthday program of MCAT. MCAT first cablecast from this very cast-off garage of the old Missoulian 29 years ago.
Right here, right in this space?
Oh, goodness, you'll see.
Awesome.
So what I've done for you, dear viewer, instead of the much anticipated public service announcements we use in between our guests here.
Everyone loves those.
Right. I have a series of clips from sort of the ages of MCAT, but really focusing on those early 90s days.
Days of yore.
Days of yore, including that party. There may be a bonus, and you could see me 29 years ago cleaning up after people.
He doesn't look any different. No, not at all. It's amazing.
In between, I will announce who you might see in these clips, you see.
Yeah.
And say a few things about it. Contemporarily speaking, MCAT's big push looking ahead are our summer media camps. If you have influence over kids between the ages of 9 and 13, or 13 to 18 for Zombie Camp, it may be worth checking out at MCAT.org. You can click on this image of happy campers to get to a registration form for 4 summer camps that will be held through June and early August. So that's my big news. The Saturday animation drop-in is still pretty active, and it will end the weekend before Memorial Day weekend.
Right.
Memorial Day weekend, MCAT will have a virtual reality presence, a real presence of virtual reality at MissCon, which is a kind of fantasy gaming
huge convention.
Play, which I thought meant playing with your cousin, but it does not.
No.
It means costume play, and MCAT will be there all weekend long, offering people a free opportunity to check out virtual reality.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think it's our 4th year doing it. And you've got your program.
Well, as constant viewers know, 2 weeks ago, I teased a little bit about a new program that I just got back from a kickoff event in Chico Hot Springs. And while working on the weekend isn't great, if you're working in Chico Hot Springs, it's not too bad. So we kicked off a new program we have at Humanities Montana called Gather Round. It's a DIY humanities toolkit. And we are encouraging people to go on our website. You see the Gather Round, you click on that banner, and it will take you to a place that describes the program in greater detail. Essentially, we're inviting people to host a humanities event in their home, whether it's a dinner party or a bonfire conversation or cocktails or a barbecue in your backyard, and talk about the essays that are contained in a new book that was just published, edited by Onyx Smith and Susan O'Connor, on the concept of hearth, what it means, whether you think of a very specific place in the environment as your hearth, Mother Earth as your hearth, a group of family members as your hearth. There are lots of different essays. There's a deck of cards that will help you with prompts and quotes. And,
interesting.
And you get a little candle and some matches, and it's a totally cool toolkit. And it's a way to say to people, you can do humanities, you do humanities every day in your lives. And we're going to give you this little kit to help you just do a kind of slightly more conscious event.
Interesting. Yeah. And people do they have to apply?
It's absolutely free. You press a button on the website and they ask you, where should we send the kit?
Wow.
Essentially.
Okay.
And that's about it. And there's only 50 of them. So if it sounds intriguing, when we run out, we run out. It's a limited edition.
Wow, that's brilliant, you guys.
I think it's going to be really fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's really interesting. I went to Davidson Honors College fundraiser that had various tables with topics.
Yes.
And so there was a leader at each table, sort of piloting conversation in which they knew quite a bit or were very passionate about. So
very similar.
Hats off to Humanities Montana.
Hey, thanks.
Clever.
Thanks.
Well, we better move along.
Yes, we have lots of guests.
It's Earth Day, and we've got a lot of kind of Earth Day themes.
They're all Earthlings.
They're all Earthlings, not the least of which Jesse Rogers, Development Director, Historical Museum of Fort Missoula.
Hi, Jesse.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, you were telling me there were 3 interesting events coming up at the Historical Museum of Fort Missoula.
3 of our bigger events and 10 million other ones.
Yeah,
Right.
every day.
Every day.
What's the most immediate?
The most immediate is this Saturday. It's the Forestry Day at the Fort, which is always the last Saturday in April, and it is a very fun event. This is its 23rd annual.
Wow.
I know, at the fort. Before then, they were doing it through the university area back in the 70s all the way through today, but we have it at the fort in the Gareth Gothran competition arena, and then, of course, like, there's the steam power locomotion and the
Yes.
hit miss engines, and then you have competitors from all over the world coming for the pro amateur logging sports competition. It's kind of neat right now. We've got several of the local competitors who kind of come every year who are in the kind of Montana area. They've been in Australia for the past month in that competition circuit.
Wow.
I think they were literally like flying back the past couple days to
Oh
get
my
back in
gosh.
time for this Forestry Day. So it really is a world-class event, and people do come from all over, and it's really fun to watch.
It's super fun to watch. I remember we recorded it for the fort, I don't know, some years ago, and I put a little clip on and talk about a viral thing.
Oh,
now,
yeah?
and maybe in this instance, people were trying to chop a log as soon as, as fast as they could.
Right.
Yep.
And there's are people like shimmying up
There's the pole
poles?
climb, there's multiple different axe chops, there's underhand, there's overhand, there's the double buck and single bucks, which is the cross-cut saw competitions, you know. There's Jack and Jill cross-cuts, and it's like so many things.
Yeah, it really is.
It's constant, and I'm always really happy when everyone walks away with all their fingers.
Yeah. Because each episode is very watchable because it seems like this mini drama with like a thread of dismemberment just
Right.
kind of in the back of your
Just a
mind.
little
yeah.
tension,
Yeah.
yeah.
a good
That's
bump
why when
cut.
you see my face at Forestry Day, I'm like,
Yeah, everyone's still alive
I
so
need to go to
far.
the beer garden now.
Yeah.
But it is a
Chill.
great day of events for families, too.
It really
I
is. We
always
have
brought
so
my
many
kids.
things for the kids.
Yeah.
We have little lumberjack log throwings and just
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff.
Oh, that's really
And then
cute.
the museum itself, we have, the fire lookouts open, the schoolhouse, the depot, the train. All these folks are there volunteering at their locations and, letting the kids ring the bell and all the really kind of cool historic stuff that we have out there. So it's
Yeah.
really just a fun day. The 2 things that I'm definitely trying to get awareness out this year is there will be events in the regional park. I think there's like a lacrosse tournament or something going on over there. And so to get to the actual Forestry Days, the easy way, which less traffic, would be to come in the back way beside Larchmont Golf Course and
Right.
Community Medical on Old Fort Road. That's the easiest because you can drive right through there. There'll be our admission station with the FFA kids because this is a fundraiser. All the admission gets split up between the FFA kids and the Historical Museum. Then we have, groups like the Society of American Foresters and University Woodsman team. So it's a huge collaborative effort. But you can go right through there and then park into the playground. So that's
Right.
the easy way. is
I
to
didn't
come in.
even know that was the back way. That's the only way I ever come into
It's the
fort.
front way for you.
For me, it's always been the front way.
Well, of course, there's the other way around the new traffic circle.
Yeah.
You're saying that because of lacrosse might be a little
That might be
too
really
big.
Right.
crowded.
Now, is
yeah.
it pricey, Jesse, to go?
No, it's
Oh.
$10 a truckload is what I usually say.
Oh, wow.
We say $10 a family, but really it's as many as you can stuff in the van.
Like going
Yeah,
to the
legs sticking out.
drive-in.
Right, right.
It's $10 for families, aka truckloads, $4 for adults, $3 for seniors, and $2 for students.
Oh,
Kids
that's
12
great.
and under free.
And the hours are
9 to 4 on this Saturday, the 27th.
April
There'll be
27th.
food trucks, beer garden, tons of fun for all. It's a good time.
you don't have to cook. You don't. It's going to be a beautiful day. You're going to have a ball.
Yeah,
I
right.
know. Fingers crossed.
No
Right.
snow.
Yeah. I think we might safely say we're done with snow.
Yeah. Now, the second item, we should underscore this for a host of nonprofits in
Yes.
the area. Missoula
Oh, yeah.
Gives on May 2nd and 3rd?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's. I think there's about 160 nonprofits to date signed up. It is 10 days away, people.
Yeah,
Oh my
just 10
goodness.
days away.
So there's a couple things with Missoula Gives. Most people have heard about it at this point, but really, the Historical Museum is a part of it. Lots of nonprofits are a part of it. It's a huge way that supports with collaborative generosity from our community, how we can give back to the nonprofits that we love. And there's two ways that I say that people who, if you're listening right now and you'd like to get involved, find that nonprofit you love and be a fundraising champion. It's super easy. You just sign in, you make your little page, which literally takes name, email address, boom, done. You get a little page, and then you can say, hey, I'm going to raise $100 for this nonprofit. I want to help them out. So, hey, Aunt Becky and Ma and Pa and everyone, help me out. I threw in $20. I need $80 more to help my favorite charity. And that makes it so much easier for us nonprofits who are out there trying. And we feel the love, when people are like, I want to help you fundraise. And it's super easy. So contact your organization that you love and be a fundraising champion.
And can people do this through their social media?
Yep, it's all about sharing on Facebook, sending an email.
So you sound like you have to knock on doors.
No, it's
This
super.
is-
You can
We
be
share
done
pictures of our
virtually,
food for
Yeah.
crying out loud.
Right.
Let's share something worthwhile.
That's right. Instead of posting another photo of your cat,
Right.
do
Share
this,
something
do
that you
this.
love.
Right.
And so Missoula Gives is coming up May 2nd and 3rd. Definitely look into it. Tons of activities. Kick off at Plonk at 5 p.m. on Thursday. That's always a fun time. Definitely come down. And then throughout the next couple days, May 2nd and 3rd, just share some posts, share the love, volunteer. It's an awesome day that gives you hope in humanity again.
Absolutely.
And there's a strong goal, I think, that
$500,000 for Missoula.
Wow. We can do it.
500,000 within 48 hours.
27.
27 hours.
27 hours.
We
7
can
hours.
do it,
Okay,
Missoula.
good
We
luck to
can
ya.
do
You
it.
can do it.
Now,
And that's a
third
good point.
thing.
Sorry. Yes, the third thing.
Oh, yeah, we better. Oh, yeah.
Okay, the third thing, I'll try to be quick because I might have to come back for all the other things.
Yeah,
You
can.
will.
Yes, is mark your calendars for May 17th. Go to the Historical Museum at Fort Missoula's Facebook page and click Hello to Old Missoula. It's Missoula's history through art.
Oh, you were telling us about this. Sounds so good. Tell everyone watching because it sounds
It's a
great.
very fun twist on history. We have 17 local artists, some amazing artists, and they have volunteered their time and talent to create a piece of artwork that portrays a specific decade of Western Montana's history, from about mid-1800s through 1990s, with some fun categories like Glacier Lake Missoula or Missoula into the Future thrown in. And they will be unveiled and debuted at 10 Spoon Winery on May 17th, 5:30 to 9 p.m. They will be available in a silent auction, so you can take a piece of this incredible history original art home, and you vote for your favorite piece of artwork, and then that is turned into a 10-spoon wine label, whichever one wins. So
That's
that you
so
can
great.
then take a bottle of wine with a
Yeah.
historic, beautiful art.
This
Painting
is,
as a
this is
label.
so many layers. It's so great. It's
Yeah.
such a great fundraiser. And so is it a ticketed
It is
price to
ticketed.
get in?
It is a fundraiser. We're trying to make it super fun with lots
Yeah.
of layers. But it's $8 a ticket, 2 for 15. You
Nothing.
can pay at the door, or you can go to either 10 Spoon or the Historical Museum and buy tickets right there.
And it's helpful to have some sense of how many people are going to
It
show
really
up.
is. Please buy tickets.
As an
Please
event
buy
coordinator,
tickets so
yeah,
that we know.
it drives you nuts to not know. So
Thanks.
do them a favor.
Sympathize,
Yeah.
please.
And I mean, some of the artists you've just mentioned.
Oh, Ed Jenny, Courtney Blazon, Lillian Nelson,
See.
Luke Smith.
These are big names.
These are great names. Gina Morelli Olson, lots more that I can't remember.
17 all told.
17.
Yeah.
And it's really going to be fascinating, and I can't wait to see how they artistically portray Western Montana's
Yeah, and
past.
what eras they choose
Absolutely.
and so on.
Absolutely.
And we've been doing weekly spotlights of our great artists on Facebook. So
Oh.
like the event, check it out. We're giving little teasers out there.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so to find you guys, because it's a long name, I often say Historical Museum of Fort Missoula, the HMFM.
HMFM.
But you think that would work for a Facebook search and get people to your page and stuff?
I hope so. I mean, if you look Fort Missoula
Fort
up, there's only
Missoula.
a couple
Yeah.
places out there. Historical Museum.
Missoula.
Missoula.
Yeah.
I love our long name. It's wonderful to type out all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
But Scott, you showed the website so people at home could go there.
Yep.
Because you talked about 3 things. That's tough.
So, like the Historical Museum at Fort Missoula on Facebook, so that you can get constant little reminders of all these things that are going
Yeah.
on, because there's going to be a lot more throughout the summer.
We
I
do
know.
60 plus events a year.
Right. And stay tuned to this show, because I can guarantee you Jesse will be back.
Right. And I guess we better move along. But
Yes.
Jesse, thank you so much.
Thanks.
And now, as I promised your viewer, you're going to get a clip, which is Collective Effort. It's Andy Thogerson of Andy's Talk Show, Nancy Bluebird Show, Shane and Tyler Show, Naturally Speaking with Eric Johnson, which includes an early picture of John DeBarre,
Oh my gosh.
who's now on council.
Yeah.
And a young Nick Kaufman, and you get to see a very young Tracy Stone Manning. We'll be right back to introduce the new artistic director of Dolce Canto right after this.
Okay, camera, where are we here?
Don't you bad monster machine.
All right. Okay, Mayor, will you make the change on the phone?
Say hi, say something for, there you go. That's
Well, it's very nice to be here at the opening of the MCAT celebration, and I wish it all the best in the world.
What are the goals and the future objectives of the
The goals and the objectives are totally up to who's ever producing. I mean,
They just do a little thing that we haven't.
Hi, gang. Well, you're gonna go, huh?
Thank you. Oh, swell. Hello, Bill. Our director's office is our 4 megabyte.
Oh, hi. Hey, Raven. Say hi to the camera. Hi, camera.
Back to us. Oh, and you did. Welcome back, dear viewer. So in that clip, you saw the first executive director of MCAT, Randy Ammon, and one of the people I served on the initial board with, Reagan Whitworth, was in that clip. And founding father of MCAT, Ron Wheeler, was also in there, and Richie Doyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I, of course, was a small child at that
Yes,
time.
and I started, 30 years ago, years ago with MCAT.
In
and I
diapers.
was 12.
Yeah.
So I would like to introduce our next guests. There's Young Mao, who is the new artistic director of Dolce Canto. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you.
Michael Marsalik is also with him. And Michael, you're on the board of Dolce Canto.
And I'm also a singer.
Yes.
I've been singing with
Okay.
Dolce for, I guess, about 14 years.
Yeah.
And I'm on the current board of directors as well.
So can you tell people, what is it? It sounds like sweet singing to me.
Indeed. Yeah, we're a nonprofit organization and a select auditioned choir. Typically around 24 voices. It varies from year to year a little bit. We started in 2001, so this is our 18th season.
Wow.
And we've toured the world, sang regular concerts in Missoula. We had a tour 3 years ago to South Korea. Have sung regional tours as well, but perform primarily a couple times every year in Missoula. And then after a national search about a year ago, we found Young Mao, and he's been with us for our 18th season, and we've got a concert coming up on the weekend.
That's great. So the concert's coming up on Saturday, April the 27th.
Right.
I can't remember the venue.
It's at St. Francis Xavier Church.
Oh, wonderful.
7:30. We deliberately, we sometimes are in other venues, but we really liked the idea of being in this space because it's a wonderful room to sing in.
It
It's a
is.
very
The
live
acoustics
room.
are beautiful.
Yeah, it's a very live room, so it's wonderful to hear choral music in there. And we didn't know when we were just talking about this, when we originally picked the date, the theme of this concert, young
Whispers of Nature.
Whispers
Oh,
of
it's
Nature.
perfect.
And here we are with Earth Day and of course Arbor Day, and Arbor Week, and all
And
these
this is the Earth Week, so our
Yes.
concert really fits the theme. I mean,
It really does.
How has your experience in this first year, this first season as artistic director been?
yeah, it was great, and I think Missoula is a tiny place, but there are so many singers who are so committed to excellent singing. So I really enjoy working here.
Great. Well, we're lucky to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been really fun. We've had a chance to, work with someone who brings a real depth of musical knowledge, but also a real creativity around programming. Putting together a program like this for the weekend, which all the songs, everything we're singing has a thread of the amazing connection that we have as humanity with nature.
Yes.
Which is a wonderful thing to sing about, and we all have
Excuse
that
me.
connection on so many different levels.
Because I think at first, I never lived in a place that is so close to nature.
Ah, yes.
Especially here, when I open my window, I see snow-capped mountains.
Right.
That was never the case in my life. So that I thought that, it would be great for me to show my appreciation for nature here. So that's why I chose Whispers of Nature. But Whispers is a kind of it's a hint. So we are making the nature human.
So what are some of
So-
the pieces that we're going to get to hear?
We are going to perform, we are thrilled to perform a masterwork that is called Whispers on the Prairie Wind. So this is composed by one of the most sought after composers of our time, Eric Eschenwalds. It's a 6-movement piece.
Oh, wow.
It's almost like a novel. There are stories about Lagota Sioux legend. So that's a legend around North and South Dakota.
Yeah.
So there are stories about having a fire on the prairie, and there is a blizzard.
Blizzards.
Blizzard.
Yeah.
So it's a very narrative piece.
Yes,
It
it's a
sounds
very
amazing.
narrative, tons of text. But we really love this piece, this huge work, and it's very fun to sing.
Yeah.
Especially, humanity. I usually find out humanity appears among tragedies and disasters, and that is the case for this piece.
Sounds interesting.
I think we'll get a better reception now that winter has passed as
Yes,
well.
right.
People will be more like, oh, yes, whispers of the wind on the prairie. And are there 24 people that are going to sing on this evening?
Well, we're actually joined with another choir actually for this
Oh.
concert. We often collaborate with student groups, or it's part of the educational mission of Dolce Canto to collaborate and to do different kinds of things in the community. And this particular concert, we're going to be with the Missoula Community Chorus Chamber Chorale, and they'll be guesting with us, joining us for a wonderful piece that we'll sing together. And they're going to do 3 or 4 pieces on the program as well, under the direction of Dr. Ron Wilcott. So it's lovely to have them with us for this concert. And then
At the same time, we will have other artists to perform with us, including Beth Youngblood, Reed, as Worth.
So some guest artists who are taking part in the
yes,
event as well.
for a couple pieces. And piano.
Would you recommend people get tickets at the door? I saw the website up for our viewers. Can they purchase tickets right from the website?
Yes, tickets are available through the website and also at 2 local outlets, both at Rock and Rudy's and Fact and Fiction in Missoula, if you want to actually walk up and get a physical ticket and don't want to do the online thing, which is just fine. And we do, recommend getting tickets early if you can.
Yeah. And the concert date again is?
Saturday night.
This
and
coming
Saturday
Saturday.
at
Time,
7:30 p.m.
7:30 at
Yeah.
St. Francis.
St. Francis.
The beautiful poster. We're showing it on the screen right now.
Oh, we got a really good graphic of the whispers.
Absolutely beautiful.
And I'm so concerned, as Kim well knows, that people won't know where to go. So St. Francis Church is on Orange and Pine.
Right.
So right in the northwest corner, you can't miss it, really.
Right.
It's right across from the tire shop. So
It's a
people will know
beautiful
where
old
to go.
church.
And
yeah.
I did want to mention too that right after the concert on Sunday and Monday, we'll be holding auditions for next year.
Oh, wow.
So if anyone's interested, just go to the website dolcecanto.info. We're often looking for a number of new singers in just about every voice part. So
Yes.
Oh, what a great
men and
opportunity
women,
that
and,
would be.
Yeah.
And Young will be holding auditions pretty much right after the concert.
Pretty much on Sunday and Monday, the coming Monday. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's clever because some people might go in, they'll be so inspired
yes.
that they'll be lifted out of the pews
Right.
of the St.
Well,
Francis Church.
and like any organization, we want the planning time as well because
Of course.
as Young is working on the artistic repertoire for next year, the board is working on the singers, the plan for developing our concerts, obviously for our 19th season.
Sure,
Which will be
sure.
next year.
Oh, it sounds a wonderful opportunity.
Yes. Well, congratulations on 18 years and our new artistic
and
director.
welcome.
Thank you.
And look forward to the concert this weekend.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having us.
You're
Thank
most
you so much for
welcome.
having us.
You bet.
All right, we better move along. We have to save the
Now,
dragon, but
what-
where's my cheat sheet
What
on what
golden
they're going to
oldie
see
are
next?
we going to see next?
Okay, so next, I might just mention that we're coming to you from the venerable old garage of the old Missoulian building.
Yes.
And when MCAT first started, a lot of people took advantage of this garage to make shows right out of here. So next, folks at home are going to see a group of teenagers that did a call-in show. They called their show Collective Effort because there were a lot of teens coming and going. And boy, did they put up with some stuff because, it's very rare nowadays that you can see an image on television and say, I'm going to talk to that image. And Scott, our technical director, also did a show called Wingless Rats. I wonder if I got that on there. So in this clip, you're going to see the work of Collective Effort, Shane and Tyler Show. Many people thought the most brilliant thing about their show was it was never called The Shane and Tyler Show. It is Shane and Tyler Show.
Shane and Tyler.
And lastly, Conversations with Greg Castall. And we'll be right back. I think Teresa is next.
Yes.
For Save the Dragon right after this.
Okay. You kind of scare me. My name's Andy.
I'm Andrews.
Sam. If you want to direct the show, why don't you go back there and do it, okay?
Check out my
Why don't you go back there and do it?
We're gonna take over the show.
It's mutiny.
Okay, you're back. Hello. Hey. You?
To do a development. If you try to develop 160 acres at one time, you're talking millions of dollars in putting in the infrastructure to supply that development. That is one of the reasons a lot of people will use these exemptions to get down to 20 acres.
The process developer or anyone in the real estate business to actually have a good handle on what it is that actually exists in the community. Therefore, there's no good way to decide if this proposed subdivision or any proposed subdivision is indeed needed.
etc. What should be held in open space, what can be developed, and at what densities. Okay, that sets the pattern for a general guide for what should be done. Then site-specific, you can look at special places for wildlife, special corridors, special places for development, places where there's infrastructure or where it should be extended, where housing should be.
And so off went 40-acre chunks. I pay a ridiculously low property tax.
I
I am laughing about Tracy.
Yeah.
She looks so beautiful.
I think, dear viewer, you saw clip one there. It's possible you saw both. But in that clip, there were, I just want to call your attention that Eric Johnson, who started the Missoula Independent, was hosting a call-in show back then on county land use issues. And there you saw a younger John DeBari, who's on City Council. And Nick Kaufman, also viewers of City Council will know him from the WGM group. And then Tracy Stone Manning, who's into acting, Clark Fork Coalition, director of the EPA for a time. And I know she's working locally now.
I think she's with the national organization.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're shop gossiping. But
okay.
That was nice. And we're ready to welcome Teresa. Thank you so much for coming to talk about Save the Dragon. Teresa also oversees the carousel for Missoula, and the park is right next to the carousel. And the rumpus is maintaining and expanding that park to be an all abilities, all children park, right?
Correct. Right. I think a lot of viewers will remember building Dragon Hollow, which we did back in 2001. So it's 18 years old.
Is it already? Oh my gosh.
I don't believe that either.
That was a great community effort.
It was, and we're going to do it again. So if you were part of it the first time, you might want to do it again. If you didn't get to help the first time, this is a great opportunity. We're going to refurbish because the lifespan of a wooden play area is about 20 years.
Of course.
So it'll be 18 this year. We take really good care of it, and Parks and Rec helps us with that. They do the inspections and fix small things for us. But still, the wood, you know, the wood gets old, it starts to crack.
There's a lot of elements. We've seen it be minus God knows what this winter. You know,
yeah, we're in
ice
Montana.
and the blowing snow, and then the baking heat.
And
I think
we
it's
have a
held
lot
up
of
really
really
well.
small elements out there every day too. So
yes,
you know,
exactly.
a lot going on out there. So we're going to we started out with this plan to refurbish. We're going to replace a lot of the wood with composite. When we built Dragon Hollow, composite wasn't structural.
That technology wasn't available.
But it is now. So our decking is Trex, but now we're going to replace some of the balusters and stuff. Some of the old equipment that is starting to fall apart, get a little, get cracks in it and stuff. We want to make sure it's always safe and clean for the kids. And then as long as we're going to refurbish, let's expand. Let's make it bigger.
Yeah.
So we are going to expand, which will allow us to do a little rearranging and make it an all-abilities park. When we built Dragon Hollow, we were told that the engineered wood fiber, the wood chips, are accessible. They're really not. So we're going to do about half of it will be poured in place rubber like you see at Silver Summit and a lot of the other parks in town now. Some of it will still be the engineered wood fiber, but lots of poured in place. We're going to have it be blue, so it's like a moat around the castle. We have some really cool pieces that we're going to put out there. The swing set will be in the new part. We'll have an expression swing where an adult and child can ride facing each other. Regular slat swings, and then one of the big pod swings you see everywhere. We're going to have a cozy cocoon, which is a sphere that children can crawl into. You can see them all the time, so you don't have to worry about your kids. But especially good for kids with autism who just need to withdraw sometimes and collect themselves. We're going to have a hill that you can either climb steps, you can climb up on your hands and knees, you can climb up laying on your back on a roller board that will pull you up to the top, and then there's a slide on each side. We have a merry-go-round you can put 2 wheelchairs on.
Oh, that's terrific.
And a thing called an Apollo, which is one of these cable jungle gyms you see all over town, except ours spins.
Oh
and
my
you can
gosh.
put 35 kids on it at a time.
Whoa.
So a lot of work going on out there. We need 2,300 volunteers to do it. We
Oh my gosh.
4,000 when we did Dragon Hollow the first time in 9 days. We need 2,300 in 5 days this time.
And how long will the shifts be?
They're about 4 hours.
Okay.
Start at 8 in the morning. So it's the May 15th through the 19th. People can sign up at savethedragonmt.com.
We've got it up on our
Yes,
screen.
on the screen
Yep.
for the viewer.
And we also need tools for them to use. We're asking
Sure.
people if they would lend us their tools for the entire build. We will take really good care of them. If they break, we'll get them fixed before they return them, so they don't need to worry about us not treating them gently. And it'll be, we have all these people who need something to work with. We all show up without a shovel or a screwdriver. We're in a lot of trouble.
Right.
So
So
volunteers.
common tools are needed, like
Absolutely.
shovels, screwdrivers, hammers, those drills that use the
65
battery.
drills. Yep.
Oh, they need 65 drills.
65 of those.
I've got
so
one.
if you click the tools list, it will tell you what we're looking for, and you can email me and let me know what that is, and I will put it on my list until we get up to where we need to be. So lots of organizing that needs to be done. The park will be closed, unfortunately, from May 8th until the 25th.
Yeah.
The 25th is our birthday, and every year on our birthday we do free rides.
Right.
So we're going to have Kids Day be the grand reopening of Dragon Hollow and free rides for everybody. So it's going to be a great day.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And that final party celebration is May 25th?
25th, Saturday, May 25th.
So,
And this park is well used.
Oh,
I
my
can
goodness,
tell
yes.
the viewers it is well
Yeah.
used. It's on my pedestrian route to home.
Mhm.
And in the fine weather and even in some colder weather, they're always there. Lots of them. You know, adults with the
It's true.
kiddos.
Yeah.
I mean, partly it's the attraction of the carousel, right? And then maybe for some kids they've done the carousel, but they're not quite ready to go home.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to have Dragon Hollow just to the west of it, and it's right by the river. It's an ideal location.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I hope
Well, this
you
is
get
a huge
all of that
undertaking,
and
but I
more.
know you'll do it, and we can all help make that happen. So
Absolutely.
I had no idea about the tool part, and goodness
I
knows
didn't
Neil has a
either.
lot of tools.
Yeah,
He
your
can-
man's got tools,
Yeah.
and I've got tools in your cellar. So,
Yes.
I think you've got two contributions.
That's great.
Right here.
And I just want to say to you before you go that I got to appreciate the carousel in a new role when my granddaughter was here several months ago. My first grandchild got to ride in the carousel, and that was so exciting.
Oh, that's great.
It was so great.
I'm experiencing the same thing in Dragon Hollow with my grandsons.
Uh-huh.
Because my kids were in middle school and high school when we built it. But to go out there with those two little boys and watch them run around and make friends.
Yeah.
And that's what this whole inclusive thing is about.
There you go.
Kids of all abilities playing together, and when they get older, they'll be able to work together.
Right.
And valuing each other. And
Right.
It really is. This change of, well, we better go. But I was going to say the school district had asked me to do tours of 9 of their schools, and we're
Right.
starting at the K-5. But ideas about inclusiveness, ideas about not stigmatizing people that may have special needs or different
Yeah.
ways of relating that are neurologically wired differently, how to incorporate that without making a big deal of it, and it's happening in the school district
Yeah.
architecturally, and it just seems like it's really going to work, and people are turning a corner on stigma and how they view difference.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
It's really something worth underscoring.
Right.
Well, Teresa, thanks so much.
Thank you very
and good
much.
luck. I'll be contacting you about my tools.
All right.
Yeah, so go to the website and sign up for a work schedule.
Yep.
And to donate some tools or loan tools.
And we're feeding people if they need childcare. We've got
Oh,
that
great.
covered too.
Wow.
Just stick them on the carousel, come back and no, I understand. Like, there's no obstacles to being a volunteer.
That's
during
right.
the
We can
crucial
make it
time.
happen. You bet.
Thanks
All
again.
right,
Thank you
well,
very much.
Next, we're going to show you a show that Christian Ackerman
Oh,
and
yeah.
Boy did called Ask Scott. You're going to have a little bit of the Wild Walk
Wild Walk's
from when
always
it was first
popular.
invented by Richie Doyle and Craig Mentier.
Mhm.
Jack Kohlberg for a long time did a music show called Street Legal, and then a little bit of a project I did, or I coordinated, say 21 years ago,
Wow.
when I was MCAT's artist in the high schools, called How Teenagers Saw Their Perfect Room.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so next we're going to be coming back and talking about trees in the city of Missoula right after that.
That's right, it's Earth Day.
Hello, my name's Mr. Finkel, and I'm closing out. Thank you for listening. Be sure, if you have any more requests, go to actmime@hotmail.com or check out the website at www.intro5.com/film/axflix. Thank you for listening. We're gonna go out with this.
Well, I looked around and bam, she's gone. She had a handful of gimme, a mouthful of munch of light. She had a handful of gimme, a mouthful of munch of lies. Well, I found out, much to my surprise, she was a signifying woman screaming holler and a fuss and fight.
Shoot, let me think. Maybe a hammock, kick back, the big window looking over the ocean, crack them open, get some nice breeze. Lots of windows so you can see out. Good view. Not too much in it. Nothing too fancy. Maybe a little bit of art. Some neat looking things. People that come over can check it out. Wouldn't ask for too much. Nothing too busy. Nothing too big. Just the perfect little room. Comfortable. Kick back, take a nap whenever you want. No TV. Nice radio, CD player, some good music in the background. That would have to just about be. That would just be about it.
Here we
We're
are.
back. I didn't notice. Sorry.
He's organizing his
I'm organizing
papers.
myself.
Yes.
I would like to introduce our next set of guests, and they are all related to Earth Day. And on my left is Karen Sippy, and she represents trees for Missoula. Welcome. Next to her is Marie Anderson. She's with the City of Missoula, Urban Forestry, and at the far right, which is shocking,
Only geographically, yes.
Welcome and thank you for being on Missoula Live on this Earth Day, April 22nd. So, I thought it was very important to talk about trees.
Yeah.
And also to talk about climate. So, I think a good place to start might be the trees of our city, right? Because my understanding is that there is an inventory of trees in the city that are aging. And a lot were planted all at one time back in the heyday. And before we started the show, we also had, with Jesse Rogers, a historical museum in Port Missoula, an interesting conversation about how the railroad would lie to prospective inhabitants of the city of Missoula, and they would make up postcards which showed the town in a much better light than it actually was. Some of this included wooden sidewalks that didn't exist, so that people were like clogging along in the mire to go to the mercantile or what have you. And then another aspect of the falsehood were the number of Eastern style trees that lined the beauteous streets. So people even back then knew that trees were an asset.
And they don't happen by accident. I mean, there's a plan in the city for trees, and there are groups that take care of the trees. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're each involved in that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as the city's representative for the Urban Forestry Division, my job is to maintain that inventory, which we have about roughly 30,000 trees in the inventory currently.
Wow.
Public trees,
publicly
owned trees. Not the one in your backyard.
Correct.
But on the boulevard, which may often surprise a homeowner, right? When something goes on, they're like, oh, here's a boulevard tree.
Right. Just because there isn't a boulevard doesn't mean there isn't a city tree there.
All right.
That's always a fun surprise.
Stretch between the sidewalk.
that boulevard tree.
Yes, absolutely.
So is there a calamity in the sense that we seem to be describing, that a lot of trees which are now in later life for a tree? People don't think of a tree's lifespan, but it is there. And were they planted simultaneously, and are they all starting to go at one time?
Yes and no.
Okay, good.
And it's a lot of it's a function of water and care. So, the more care you give these trees, the better they do. And unfortunately, we don't always have that level of care and that level of investment. And so, and a lot of it, I think it just is lack of education. People don't realize either they're not from, such an arid climate where you have to water your trees, you not rely on the rainfall, or it's just, people coming and going, and they're not as invested in that property. So we do have a huge amount of our inventory is Norway maples, roughly about, let's see, I wrote down my numbers.
You can cheat.
Good. That's good because I already was. So we have roughly about 35% of the city is Norway maples, and a large percentage of those were planted at the turn of the century. And so they're getting up there. We have trees in the city that are 115 years old.
Wow.
And the general lifespan of those urban Norway maples is about 90 years. So we're kind of hitting some of that critical mass where some of those trees that do have, lots of storm damage or, years of lack of care are starting to decline and die.
Oh, this is
I
tough.
know. I am in the University District, right in the epicenter of that whole area. And we take really good care of those trees because it changes everything. When a neighbor lost one 2 summers ago, and it changes the whole ecosystem in your front yard without that shade tree. And it's
It really does.
important.
And they're doing such a good job of trying not to just clear cut the forest and really selectively removing trees when they are truly a danger, they're truly dead, and replacing them as they're removed, so it's not just all coming out at one time, but it's going to be quite a change.
I'm sure.
And yeah, reforestation is part of any landscape.
How is that process happening?
So basically, it's on a citizen request basis. Someone calls our office and says, "Hey, my tree isn't looking so great. Could you come out and take a peek at it and see if there's something that we can do?" And that's generally how we find it. Or when we were doing the inventory, we identified quite a few that way.
Yeah.
And then this year, hopefully, fingers crossed, our technology will be working and we can work on our 6-year update instead of the 5-year.
Yeah.
Close enough, close
enough.
Yeah, right?
And Karen, could you tell people watching a little bit about Trees for Missoula? Like, where did it come from? It seems to be, my impression was a fundraising arm for the Urban Forestry Division, but actually, no.
It's more of, and it's a volunteer nonprofit advocacy group, and we advocate for the urban forest. So of course I work very closely with the partners of City Parks and Rec in the Urban Forestry Division, but then I also work with great partners like Climate Smart Missoula and Amy Sillenberg. We work with Invest Health Missoula and the health department, because trees benefit us everywhere.
Sure.
Trees benefit our climate, trees benefit our health. So it's been really nice to have great partners get the word out. And so really we're about education, advocating for the urban forest, getting the people who make all the decisions to make the right decisions and support our urban forest. But we also have a great volunteer program, and we've created VIPs, volunteers in pruning. So we train volunteers to formative prune our trees when they're newly planted. So after they've been in the ground 2 to 3 to 5 years, our volunteers go around with our certified arborists from the city, and we prune these young trees because we have so many trees that our staff, they can only get to the big ones with the bucket trucks and the chainsaws, and so we're able to hit the trees when they're young, so that when they're really big, they have a great structure and they're safe, wonderful.
That's so clever.
We also plant trees every October for Neighborhoods Month. Arbor Day Foundation dubbed October Neighborhoods Month. So the first 2 weeks, we plant bare root trees with our volunteers. We mostly do them in parks, but this year we followed a sidewalk project that the city and the health department and Invest Health Missoula put together, and it was great fun going into the neighborhoods and following this construction project and being able to bring beauty into these neighborhoods with these new trees. So we do a lot of volunteering and advocacy work. I would love people to visit my website and also donate.
Scott was showing the website to the folks at home,
yeah.
so they can make themselves more familiar with it. I was reading an article just today that said municipalities, cities should look upon trees as an asset for public health, so that having a treed environment was an issue of public health as much as it might be an aesthetic concern.
Absolutely. It actually gets people out moving. People will walk on tree-lined sidewalks. They don't want to walk on sidewalks that aren't shaded and they don't have trees. They absorb pollutants in the air, so they're beneficial for people with asthma. They even help patients heal quicker in hospitals if they have a view of trees. All of this has been literally founded. We, Amy and I are doing a project now. It's going to be in a couple of weeks. We're installing a shade shelter, and she had this concept come from her your summer shade, summer smart. Where'd you go?
Yeah,
Take it.
So there's a lot of intersections with our urban forest and
Sure.
trees and health, and then you bring in a changing climate, so especially hotter summers.
Yeah.
And there's a real need for that shade. So we can talk more about that. Even the way that we care for our trees may change over time if our summers are hotter and drier as they're projected to be, and that season goes into August and September, where
Right.
especially September, we need to water trees and care for them differently because we need this urban forest as it gets hotter to keep temperatures down. The urban canopy and trees downtown can reduce temperatures by close to even 10 degrees from, if you just put a bunch of pavement and a bunch of buildings down without any trees and
That's right.
you add trees just to the sidewalk. They don't have to be everywhere, but you add that shade and it can just reduce that temperature and make it a lot more tolerable. And then there's the mental health aspect to it. We are happier and feel better around greenery in the
And even
summer.
the mind-body connection,
Yeah.
like people are finding that people are healing
Yes,
faster.
right. It's all connected. There's not like mental
Yeah.
and medical health. They're all part of the same. But then, yeah. So what we so for Climate Smart, we got started a little over 3 years ago, and one of our first project was a program called Summer Smart, where we're helping our community adapt to a changing climate, which is mostly hotter summers, but especially wildfire smoke, smokier summers. How do we
Right.
deal with that? But for the heat part, we decided that we started working with MMW Architects and Home Resource, and then Parks and Rec. And built together, we created the shade shelter that you might see along the Milwaukee Trail if you're walking just down from a little bit east from the Missoulian. It's sort of an
Oh, I've
interesting,
seen it. It's really
architecturally
cool.
designed by MMW Architects,
Yeah.
and using reused wood that came to Home Resource. They try to keep things out of the landfill, and built a shade shelter that it just works as shade, and then the architects oriented in the right direction and figure out how it needed to be constructed, designed and constructed such that it would provide the ample shade in July and August. And it's just been a really nice addition to the Milwaukee Trail. And then as Karen got interested in that shade shelter and the concept, we said, oh, well, we can get wood from Home Resource. They don't always have enough. What if we also incorporated into our next shade shelter some of the urban forestry wood that comes out, because again we are having to remove some of the older trees. So that wood is now being repurposed into shade shelters.
Oh,
It's really neat, and we are in 2-3 weeks, by the first or second week of May, we should have the second of these shelters installed along the Bitterroot Spur Trail as you go down. So we'll have one there, and again designed by MMW Architects, built by Home Resource, and we'll have it all up and welded. And it's just kind of neat. We'll also have some trees at that site. It gets pretty barren as you go further south on that Bitter Trail, so we're trying to bring a little art to that area and shade, and then kind of full circle with both trees and the wood incorporated into the shelter. So it'll be great to get that up. And then there'll be a third shade shelter even further down along in the new ML.
At Bellevue Park.
Bellevue Park.
At Bellevue Park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great idea.
So anyway, it's a neat partnership, and Trees for Missoula has been great. We're also working a lot with Parks and Rec to help, and volunteers to put that all together. So.
Oh, that's
Kinda neat.
really great.
Yeah.
So it sounds like people watching there, if they have an interest for, let's say they were interested in helping people with tree pruning, they can contact Trees for Missoula and say, hey, I've had some experience.
Absolutely,
I
and we
wouldn't
train
mind.
as well. And so, yes, absolutely, anyone who wants to help the urban forest in any way, they can contact me through the website.
May 11th is going to be our next VIP pruning class.
Oh,
So I'll be
good to
teaching-
know.
Yeah, I'll be teaching summer pruning. So anyone who wants to come learn about it and volunteer, we would love to have them.
And if people have questions about how to care for the trees on their area and their property, is there a place on the website, on the city website, that tells you that?
Yep, if you go to Parks and Rec, to their link, and then down to urban forestry, we have a whole link there, and it's going to be under construction soon. We're going to be redoing the website a little bit, so there'll be some more information and more FAQ type.
Good, because I mean, I don't know as the summer progresses. I know how to water them, but other than that, I'm not.
But I don't know how much to water them, and I wish the world of smart devices, everything's so smart. You can make, like the toaster pop and the lights change.
We're gonna invent something.
Okay, do that next.
Right.
Yeah.
Because often with trees, where I live, the landlord old Tom Prada. He's long gone now. But he used to come and show me how to put the apricot trees on the trickle.
Oh,
So he was a trickle man.
Oh,
He was a
nice.
trickle
But I can't tell you how many times, I was young, I had lots to do. I would forget and be like, oh my God, how many days has that thing been on the trickle?
The Trees from Missoula website does have a calendar, and we have
Oh,
tree
good.
minders every month, and it tells you how to water, how much to water, how you know,
Excellent.
how you can feel in the soil for how much water. So you can check that out as
Okay.
well.
There's also something really interesting about Missoula and our aquifer that that people don't realize, and that is that our aquifer fairly replenishes itself fairly well. We're doing, I'm working with the city of Missoula and the Missoula County, and we're working on a climate adaptation planning effort. And part of that has been looking into, what is most vulnerable in our community
Right.
given climate change.
Sure.
And we had a scientist, Nick Silverman, he's affiliated with the University of Montana. The real quick story is he looked at the sensitivity of the aquifer to drying, because we are going to project it have these hotter, drier
Sure.
late summers especially. And the quick story is that this aquifer is fairly resilient and it replenishes itself. And so we live in an arid climate, but having a trickle on your apricot tea actually isn't really, it's okay here because of the way our aquifer works. We're not
It's just
relying-
going back into
It's just
the
going back
aquifer,
in,
right?
and it's not,
Well-
which is very different than living in a community like maybe Bozeman, where it's all their water comes from the streams and
Right.
from that it doesn't come from an aquifer. So we can
Yeah.
water grass. We don't have to waste it, but we can water grass. We can water our trees and keep everything healthy and not be so freaked that we're burning through our aquifer.
That's a great thing to know.
Yeah,
that I
it's
didn't
really
know
important.
before,
But I might
it makes
point out,
total sense.
in my anecdote, it was on a flat rate. This was
Right, you don't want to.
circa
You don't want to waste
1989.
it.
I'm still on a flat rate.
You are?
Lucky.
I know.
I mean, that's a consideration too, I think, that people worry like,
It's still pretty minimal, and our rates
Yeah.
are pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
the benefit of having a tree stay alive, because you don't need to water generally starting in, we don't need to water year round. It's really those key
yeah,
months.
those
Yeah.
key months where you're like, oh, there's the water bill.
July, August, September, and if you do it efficiently and effectively, you're really not wasting water or money. You're not just having an open hose out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So we also have different ways and methods to water efficiently, and
good.
so that you aren't wasting water or money.
Yeah, so there's all this evaporation.
Right.
that people
And,
are doing
Yeah,
and
one
exactly.
way.
wasting energy, because
Right. Oh,
really
yes.
the water, there's a lot of energy embodied in moving our water around, pumping it up,
Yeah.
Oh,
pumping
sure,
it down.
sure.
So you don't
I never
want to
think
waste
about
it, but I
that.
just want
She
I
always
know.
reminds me of
It's
how
all
much energy
connected.
it's taking.
Oh,
Yes.
gee, now we have 2 minutes. See,
Okay.
I told you once we got started on one.
I know, but I
We'd
think
chew that fat and then
such
we'd be
a
up against
perfect day to remind
Yes,
everybody
it
that,
is.
I mean, we're not always conscious of it, but part of what makes Missoula such a beautiful, comfortable, lovely home for all of us is our trees.
Yeah.
And so,
And
they are
the
an
farmers
asset.
market's starting up pretty soon in 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
you can buy trees, you can buy native shrubs, you can do a lot in your own home or businesses
Right.
and things.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
Thank
so
you all.
much for coming on the
you.
show. Oh, and I wanted to mention to people watching, it is Arbor Week, and I know a lot is going on at university. There's like a tour. Ken
Oh.
Stoll, do you work with him?
Ken Stoltz, I used to, yes.
Oh, used to. Well, he is just doing up a storm. I asked Ken to be on the show, and he's like, no, I'm running around. It's crazy.
Trees from Missoula's partnering with them for
Oh,
the
good.
events, and actually
Yeah.
Amy is going to be on my panel Thursday night with Nick Silverman
Yeah.
and Jamie Kirby from the DNRC.
Now, where's that going to be, the
And that's
panel?
at ISB 110, the
Interdisciplinary Science Building at campus.
Okay.
At
at
UM.
UM.
Is
And
that information on your website?
It is it's on Facebook, but it's also on the University of Montana events website.
Yeah.
And
They
it's
have
on
all the
Climate
events.
Smart Missoula's website too.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
okay,
sorry I
good.
didn't mention that sooner. I meant to, and it just
Yeah.
slipped my mind. to.
No, there'll
He's
be a
saying
whole bunch of things.
Zero.
Oh, now he's
zero,
going to
zero.
cut us off in
Well, you're going to
mid-sentence.
show a clip. Just show one little clip to send us out. So for NCAT, I'm Joel Barrett.
And I'm Kim Anderson.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you in May.
Yeah.
Welcome to Labor Vision. It's a monthly live call-in show with issues that affect Missoula and the labor community, and obviously Missoula citizens as a whole. Tonight we have Mike Bennett, who's the Ward 1 councilman, and he was elected in '92, and he's been serving since '93. Why don't we start off? Well, first I should mention that if you'd like to if you have a question about the City Council or Ward 1 of the Rattlesnake, you can call in at 542-6228, 542-MCAT. And Mike, I think I want to start off, and since you started, how is your feeling towards the City Council now than before you started running?
Well, I don't think my basic opinions have changed. Philosophy, it's a learning experience being on it. You get to understand a little bit more about the nuts and bolts aspects of government, but as far as philosophical issues and some of the larger policy issues, I don't think that being on the council really has changed my basic feelings or attitudes very much. It's still an important job, and it's one of trying to represent the citizens who generally don't have the time to go down and sit in on the committee meetings and keep track of everything that government does.
Well, it does take quite a bit of time, though, to know all the procedures and all the budget procedures, and it is quite complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, probably the most interesting thing is, in terms of learning that I've gone through, was the land use issues. So much of that isn't based on simply your opinions of things. It's based on a lot of judicial requirements, legislative requirements. There's findings of fact that you have to have in hand if you're going to vote a certain way on these things, and you just about should be a lawyer before you try to do it, but fortunately none of us are, so we've kind of done it from scratch, but it is not something that you can just go in and fly completely by the seat of the pants.
Now, you're from the Rattlesnake. How has the issues changed over the years from when you started to the issues now?
Well, the Rattlesnake is, I guess, sort of like, as one of the old German chancellors said about the Balkans, they generate more history than they can consume internally, and we generate more politics, I think, than we can consume internally. But the issues obviously have gone past annexation. That was the thing that really was the firestorm in the Rattlesnake when we first came in. At this point, that's pretty much a dead horse for most of the valley. We're in the city, and we need to accommodate that as best we can.